Hey, I'm Selena Gomez.
I just only want to share it to all the girls out there that you have a voice.
She is one of the world's rising stars.
You have a chance to just do what you love, whether that is acting or singing.
A former Disney princess who has gone on to become one of Hollywood's most recognizable talents.
Selena Gomez has it all. She's a beautiful young woman. She's a great singer. She's a great actress. Her fans have embraced her in both arenas.
Her big break came in 2007 when she starred in the hugely successful Disney show, The Wizards of Waverly Place.
I'm working on Wizards of Waverly Place right now for Disney Channel. It'll be airing October 12th.
And since then, her fame has grown to levels beyond her wildest dreams.
Without Wizards of Waverly Place, she wouldn't be where she is today. And I think it's a show that she will constantly go back to in her head as one of her finest moments of her childhood.
Her extremely turbulent relationship with Justin Bieber made headlines all around the world. But it's for her artistry and talent that she is revered for by millions of fans.
My fans are a lot cooler than me half the time. They are incredible girls, too, that inspire me. You know, when I meet my fans at meet and greets or at concerts and they tell me stories and things that they've been through, it definitely makes me feel like my fans are very strong. And if I could just be their warrior and fight for them, I will.
She already has, at the age of 21, a successful clothing line production company.
Selena Gomez possesses the drive and ambition that has seen her grown from child star to worldwide superstar.
Selena Gomez is one of the most famous women in the world right now. She has an incredible fan base and she's had an incredible career to date.
Follow the unique story of one of Hollywood's shining lights.
I was about 7 years old when I got my first acting job. I was very dramatic as a kid. I mean, everything was the biggest deal in the whole world for me. So I think it kind of always knew. My mom always knew in the cards, and I asked her if I could be an actress, and it all went from there.
The multi-talented singer and actress became famous for her exotic looks and good girl image. She's dated some of Hollywood's hottest stars.
So you have two of Disney's biggest stars. You have Selena Gomez and you have Nick Jonas becoming an item.
Selena went public with her relationship to Justin Bieber. They even got their own name, Jelena.
She formed a band that went on to release multi-platinum albums and #1 singles. Throughout her career, Selena has managed to avoid controversy and has always made headlines for positive reasons. However, in early 2014, she checked herself into rehab, and it was the first time the world saw the dark side of Selena.
Celebrity watchers speculate that this rehab visit probably had a lot to do with Justin Bieber and perhaps the addiction she felt to him, the addiction she had to the relationship, the dysfunctionality, the codependency, perhaps of that relationship may have been a large factor.
Throughout her life, Selena has always managed to come through difficult times, and her self-belief and hard work have paved the way for her to reach heights she thought unreachable. Despite her huge success, Selena went through a tough time as a youngster, and it was her tough upbringing that would ultimately shape her into the person she is today.
Selena's show business DNA comes from her mother, Mandy. She's an actress, she's been in the industry for years. She gave birth to Selena when she was 16 and still a jobbing actress, born in '92 in Prairie in Texas. Her father, Ricardo, is from New Mexico, so obviously that would explain the Spanish heritage within her name.
Her mother actually gave birth to her when she was 16. So in a lot of ways, I think having such a young mother, Selena kind of grew up with her mother. And of course, when she was 5 years old, her parents got divorced, and she has said that that was a really difficult time.
Selena's been very vocal and very honest in interviews recently, very candid about the impact that had on her childhood. I mean, she talks about a time where her mum had 3 jobs, she needed to raise the money, she needed to get the income in. I mean, she's also spoken about the time where her mother had no money for gas, the car would run out of gas. You know, financially, they really went through hardship.
My modern day hero, well, personally in my life, it would have to be my mom. My mom's been through so much growing up, and she kind of just has stepped back and let me do my thing and go for my dreams and kind of watched me shine, so I'll always be appreciative of that.
Selena's mum, Mandy, was a jobbing actress. I mean, she went from audition to casting. She met with producers, directors. So Selena was exposed to that world of rejection pretty early on.
She's taught me how to handle rejection well. You know, that's one thing in this business that's everywhere you go. So I think for me, I will always be super appreciative of how she's taught me how to handle rejection.
Selena's tough upbringing continued throughout her school days, where she was bullied on a regular basis.
Selena Gomez was bullied at school to the extent she said it was every second of every day.
She got picked on during her lunch breaks. She had monies taken out of her pocket. She had beatings in the toilet because they thought she was too ambitious. I mean, Selena was very vocal at a very young age about wanting to be a star. She would perform in front of everyone in the classroom. She would show off at every opportunity. She's been very vocal at saying that those school years were pretty tough, but then she managed to confide in some friends like Demi Lovato, who she worked with later on in life. They bonded over the fact that both of them had a tough childhood.
Ultimately, she said it made her a stronger person, and it led to her being as successful as she is, but it was pretty horrific.
And I think she's put all those years behind her. She's now one of the biggest celebrities in the world, and I'm sure she's having the last laugh at all those bullies who now go to the movie theatre to see her or buy her records.
My favorite teacher, her name was Mrs. Lopez, and she was definitely the one that always wanted me to dream big, and she always said that I was going to be an entertainer, and I thought it was funny because she was the first person who said, you know, I think you're going to be an entertainer. She didn't say singer and actress or anything, she just thought I love to entertain people.
Selena was a very active student during her school years, and it was through watching her mom perform where Selena developed her early interest in acting, and she managed to land a role on the hit children's TV show Barney and Friends.
Now, if you've not heard of Barney and Friends, it was huge. Every kid watched Barney. It was just a craze. There were songs. It was fun.
So 9-year-old Selena gets to hang out with a giant purple dinosaur. Those YouTube clips, if you've never seen them, are just some of the cutest examples of kids' TV you'll ever see. There's young Selena with a young Demi Lovato hanging out with Barney the dinosaur, which was, of course, if you think back to 2002, was one of the biggest kids programs worldwide and one of the most franchised and heavily merchandised shows in the world. What better start than Barney the dinosaur for young Selena Gomez? She was making television shows, I think 3 or 4 a week. She was being exposed to the industry. It's the beginning of an amazing career.
After her successful run on Barney and Friends had come to an end, Selena went on to star in various commercials and feature films. In 2003, she landed a cameo role alongside Sylvester Stallone in the hit children's film Spy Kids 3D, Game Over, and later went on to star with Chuck Norris in the action-packed film Walker, Texas Ranger, Trial by Fire.
And although these were just small parts, she got a real feel for what she wanted to do for the rest of her life. She was being praised, and she thought, no, I want to be a leading lady.
Having appeared in some successful Hollywood films, Selena was cast in 3 episodes of the hit Disney show Hannah Montana.
Selena went along to the audition hoping she might be perfect for the leading role. Of course, we all know that went to Miley Cyrus. She's done rather well out of it. But Selena did well as well. She got cast as the young character of Michaela. She was there with Disney. It became one of the bigger shows. In fact, the show for kids in America with incredible ratings, award-winning success.
Now, Hannah Montana was already huge all over the world, so it was very important and it was integral in the rest of her career in terms of what it would lead to for Selena.
It wasn't until 2007 that Selena managed to land herself a lead role in a show that would take her fame to another level.
Disney were looking for a star for a brand new show. The Disney executives knew who she was. She had a reputation for a great work ethic. The Wizards of Waverly Place was basically the show that gave Selena her big break.
I'm working on Wizards of Waverly Place right now for Disney Channel. It'll be airing October 12th, and it's about a family of kids learning wizardry from our father, and it's a comedy series, and we had a lot of family in it, and it's a fun show, and I hope everyone likes it.
You know, she'd been on TV for a long time at that point, but that was the top-rated Disney show just after High School Musical, had a massive following. And what's interesting about that show is Selena also sang the theme song, and that was her first big musical release. And what that has kind of led the way to, which is current, is that Selena's very interested in both acting and music. And she wants to do both with equal enthusiasm and passion. She's very, very good at both. And I think, you know, as long as things continue, she'll be able to do that.
For 97 episodes, her fans got to know who she was, got to know her personality, and more importantly, for, you know, her career further down the line, they got to know her singing voice as well. I mean, the show became the #1 show on the network. It won an Emmy Award. It constantly won and got nominated at things like the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards, and it put Selena Gomez in the national consciousness. She was in every teen magazine, and that show, as I said, became the #1 rated show. Without Wizards of Waverly Place, she wouldn't be where she is today. And I think it's a show that she will constantly go back to in her head as one of her finest moments of her childhood.
Selena Gomez was now an established Disney star. The Wizards of Waverly Place was being broadcast all over the world. In the midst of her rise to fame, Selena was starting to develop a business-savvy mentality.
So here's the thing, whilst other 16-year-olds are at school, maybe getting boyfriends, girlfriends for the first time, thinking about homework, school life, what is Selena Gomez doing age 16? Well, she'd been incredibly successful in Wizards of Waverly Place. She was becoming a national celebrity. So of course, the next step, well, you're 16, start your own production company.
In October 2008, Selena launched her production company, July Moon Productions, and partnered with XYZ Films.
So we have July Moon Productions with several options on the table. Selena Gomez, age 16, has the right to commission films. She can executively produce films and star in films.
Now this speaks volumes for the kind of person she is. She wants to be a star, but she wants to be a businesswoman too. And perhaps because she came from adversity, she didn't grow up with rich parents. She knew what it was like to be poor and to struggle. Perhaps that's why she wanted to make sure that she was set up for the rest of her life, that she could give money back to her mum, who worked 3 jobs to raise her.
At 16, she was developing scripts, and she was sitting in business meetings talking about budgets and talking about worldwide box office and marketing ideas. I mean, that's quite incredible for anyone in this industry who is both an actor and a business person, but she's 16 years old. This is highly unusual, but so clever. It's very profitable. The whole venture has completely paid off, with Selena becoming one of the most successful, one of the most profitable, one of the richest, youngest producing talents in Hollywood today, and she's also incredibly respected by those in the industry.
That same year, Gomez started dating fellow Disney star Nick Jonas. This led to Selena appearing in the music video for the song Burning Up, performed by Nick's band, the Jonas Brothers.
So the Jonas Brothers were making the music video for Burning Up. You have to remember they were also one of Disney's biggest signings. Huge US stars, worldwide phenomenon. You have Selena Gomez, also a household name in America and a huge star for kids around the world. So what did? They put Selena in the Jonas Brother video, and of course that means, well, it's a music video, often 16 to 18 hours on set. They're all young, they're spending a lot of time together, so naturally tongues start wagging on set, and yes, this leads to Nick Jonas and Selena Gomez becoming an item.
Well, I feel like Nick Jonas kind of picks off the various Disney actresses and beauties for his own evil ways. No, I'm just kidding. But Nick Jonas and Selena Gomez dated for a while. It was a relationship that was really without a lot of controversy, unlike, of course, Taylor Swift's relationship with the Jonas Brother that ended up becoming a song which was, you know, angry and upset. Selena's experience seemed to be a lot more calm. It was a kind of a normal young romance. It ended, there were no hard feelings, there was no drama.
But of course, you have to remember that Nick Jonas had to appear single to all his teenage fans. His management, his family didn't want Selena Gomez to be around him. They didn't want to publicly acknowledge they were dating. So what's been interesting is that years later, in fact, even recently, Selena has been talking about that relationship with Nick Jonas and saying she found it very claustrophobic. It was a restrictive relationship. She found that it was deeply troubling, in fact, because she basically had to live a lie. She had to be escorted out secretly. She was put in separate cars, used different hotel exits. So yeah, she's been very vocal in saying she regrets that time. So I don't think he'll be in any hurry to patch things up with her. In fact, you never really see the two of them on the red carpet, which is interesting because we're talking about something that happened several years ago now.
After her breakup with Nick Jonas, Selena decided to focus on her acting. In late 2008, Gomez played the lead role in the film Another Cinderella Story. Gomez portrayed Mary Santiago, a young girl who hoped to someday become a dancer.
Well, I had to do 2 months of dance training. So for me, it was basically trying to act like I've been a dancer my entire life and kind of portraying that on screen, which was really nice because it was a challenge, and now I'm addicted to dancing. I love it. I learned tango, hip hop, all different kind of aspects of dance, and it's wonderful. I'm very happy.
So after Selena's breakup with Nick Jonas, she was desperate to cut her teeth into a brand new project. She needed a brand new distraction, and it just so happened that a script had been developed by her company. Another Cinderella Story was basically a retelling of the classic Cinderella story.
Well, this is our modern take of it. Now, instead of losing a glass slipper or a cell phone, I lose a Zune. So he's got to find me through music. And the whole music element is kind of new to it because I meet a pop star who's a singer/dancer, and you fall in love with someone famous, and you fall in love with someone who's not so famous. So it's kind of got that mixture of it, so it's nice.
The movie was a perfect vehicle for her to showcase not only her acting talent, but also her singing talent as well. I mean, she recorded the theme song, Tell Me Something I Don't Know, from the movie. That went on to be a number 58 hit. That's her first major hit in America on the Hot 100. And I think it was obvious to all her fans that this was the start of something big. It was obvious that she would end up becoming a recording artist.
Tell me something I don't know, something I don't know, something I don't know.
I mean, the video had her portraying life as a maid in a massive mansion. It was the classic Cinderella story. Critics really didn't like the film, but fans liked the song, and more importantly, they bought into Selena Gomez, the recording artist.
After her role in Another Cinderella Story, Selena wanted to branch out on her acting roles and went on to star in an animated film which grossed hundreds of millions of dollars at the box office.
Selena Gomez has actually had a considerable amount of film success at such a young age. She was in a film called Horton Hears a Who back in 2008. It's an animated film, and she played the role of Helga. Well, that movie went on to gross something like $300 million worldwide. So there's no denying her success, even at this young age, as an actress.
Selena's reputation for starring in hit movies was growing rapidly, and in August 2009, she starred in The Wizards of Waverly Place, the movie, a television film based on the hugely successful series. Considering the popularity of the show, the film was always going to be a hit with Disney fans, but it went on to achieve success beyond Selena's and Disney's expectations.
I mean, this was a win-win situation. It premiered on the Disney Channel with 11.4 million viewers. That was the second highest rated TV movie special after High School Musical 2. We're talking big numbers. And it went on to win an Emmy, and it also took Selena's career to the next level. Critics weren't so kind about the movie, but her fan base loved it. And so, yeah, the movie version of the hit show paid off. And in fact, years later, she went back to revisit the character for another movie. And I'm sure one day we'll see her perform in that role again.
Selena Gomez had been working on her debut album since signing with Hollywood Records in 2008, and later announced that she had formed a band known as Selena Gomez and the Scene.
It was inevitable that Hollywood Records would sign Selena to their label, and released the debut album Selena Gomez and the Scene, Kiss and Tell, to a public who were actually pretty intrigued by what she had to offer.
And I think it was her first attempt, well, it really was, to put herself out there as a pop singer. I don't think she wanted all the pressure on herself as an individual solo artist, which is why you've got The Scene. It kind of took some of the pressure off her launching her music career, but they were, from the very beginning, very successful.
It was a very quirky, rock, typically pop record. The critics weren't that kind, but it debuted top 10 in America. She worked with the production team Rock Mafia to come up with some great hit singles from the album. The videos were appealing to a young demographic. They did really well on YouTube.
You know, she was doing what she did best. She was having fun, and she was being a pop star, and she was being young and vibrant and pretty and all these things that everyone had bought into anyway.
And I think it gave her a taste of what it would be like to be a pop star, something she absolutely loves.
And look, she wasn't going to break the mold just yet. She wasn't the new Lady Gaga, she wasn't quite Madonna, but the album really did cement Selena Gomez as a future recording star.
Performing your debut single, your debut album, which
Yes.
was it iTunes, came in at number?
Number like 6, and yeah, number 6.
Fantastic. And how does it feel to be here performing? Because you did a gig in London recently.
I did, yes. It was my first gig in London, so I was very, very nervous, but the show was absolutely amazing. The fans were very, very incredible and very welcoming, so I'm very excited to perform a little bit of something for them today.
And how much of you is a performing artist for the music side and for the acting side? What's really there for you? I mean, obviously you're here to perform. But
Right.
where's your heart?
That question's very hard for me because I love both for different reasons of what I, all the different passions I have for each of the things that I do. So, I mean, if I had to choose one, I suppose it would be acting, but I just am too obsessed with my music, and I'm too obsessed with, the creation and all the things behind it.
So the one song that really helped sell the Kiss and Tell album was the second single, Naturally. The actual title track hadn't really impacted that well. It hadn't performed well in the charts. Radio stations weren't that sure whether they should play it. I mean, you have to remember that Selena was very much associated with Wizards of Waverly Place. Some people thought she was just another tween star, but she really did make the transition with Naturally. The video was a bit more, slightly edgy, but it was still pop, it was pacey, it was fun. It's now had over 200 million views on YouTube. The single, it's very rock, it's very pop, produced by Rock Mafia, but it did give Selena Gomez her first American top 40 hit. So in terms of chart success, Naturally is the one that put her on the musical map. Selena had been really clever at the age of 16 when her and her mother set up her own production company, July Moon Productions. So, after the success of the TV show and her debut album, she now had the chance to go back into the world of movies.
While the band began early work on their second album, Selena continued to focus on film and her production company. In 2009, she signed on to star as the lead role of the film adaptation of the classic children's book, Ramona and Beezus.
Her production company helped option the idea.
Ramona and Beezus was a more grown-up film, and she said she was very comfortable taking more adult roles if she felt comfortable with the role itself.
It was met with some positive reviews. Critics were pretty kind about the movie and her performance. It was a perfect kids film because the books have been so successful, especially for those under 9 across the States. And Selena playing Beezus, sort of an older, sassy, sisterly role, it was perfect for her. I mean, it didn't set the box office on fire, but it was a step in the right direction for Selena, and it proved she could do more than just play a kid's role and play to a young audience.
With a multi-platinum album and a number of successful films under her belt, Selena's love life was now the topic on everyone's lips.
So Selena had spent quite a few weeks on set in Vancouver filming Ramona and Beezus, and it just so happened that Taylor Lautner was hanging out with Robert Pattinson making the Twilight New Moon movie, which meant that Selena and Taylor happened to spend quite a bit of time off set at the same production studio. And then a few months later, it gets confirmed that Taylor and Selena are indeed an item. They dated for a few months. They were papped, basically hanging out in Hollywood, going to cafes, restaurants, going out for meals. Everybody talked about this couple. You know, they were a hot item. You have to remember that Taylor Lautner was one of the hunkiest heartthrobs in the world. You know, there were a lot of ladies unhappy with Selena Gomez, but unfortunately it did fizzle out. It wasn't meant to be, but they are still friends to this day.
And the tabloids made lots of this, saying Selena's really unlucky in love. But come on, let's face it, at the time she was about 20 years old, she's still got time to get a guy.
After her breakup with Taylor Lautner, Selena Gomez and the Scenes started to wrap up recording sessions for their second album. And with this release, the band had to take into consideration the different musical sound that was becoming popular all around the world.
Selena's second album with her band, A Year Without Rain in 2010, was an even bigger hit than her debut album. It charted at number 4 in America, it went on to sell gold, it's sold now nearly 793,000 copies in America. And she was very clever in that year, because you have to remember that the state of music, the sound of music, pop music itself was evolving thanks to people like Lady Gaga. Electropop was the sound. America was beginning to love dance music. It had already been massive in the UK and Europe. So Selena and the band, Selena Gomez and the Scene, had been very clever with this album. In fact, she brought in new producers. She was working with Stargate from Norway, and even Katy Perry gave her a song.
This album did incredibly well. It was their first album to reach the Billboard Top 5, and they had 2 singles which hit the top 40 from the album. It did very well, and it really kind of solidified her position as a pop artist who was up and coming and wasn't just a flash in the pan.
So Selena released A Year Without Rain as the first single from the album, and it's fair to say that radio stations, the music video channels, fans and critics were, particularly keen on this record. They were kind to her, they were supportive.
A day without you is like a year without rain. Oh.
The video was rather cool. It showed her driving around the desert. There was a lot of water. She looked good. It had a sort of a techno electro pop sound, and thanks to Lady Gaga, that was the sound of 2010. So it was the right single to release off the album, and it helped, put the album into the chart at number 4. It paid off in the end.
The band's second album proved to be hugely successful and went down extremely well with fans and critics. And in order to show off their versatility, the band performed their first ever acoustic set.
Well, this is my first acoustic set. I've done acoustic songs occasionally for radio stations, but this is an actual acoustic set. I'm kind of nervous. My songs are interesting because they don't really translate acoustically. They're very dance, techno, very fun. But I thought it would be really cool to be a part of the 60th anniversary, to do something fun, and I'm gonna do it with my band. So we're gonna do most of the songs from the first record and the new record, most of my singles, so it'll be fun. I can't wait. Most of my songs, as you know, if you heard any of them, they're very fast and they're very dance and techno. So it's really fun for me and my band to kind of take these really fast songs and transfer them acoustically. So we're very, very excited to play these songs for you tonight.
Telling myself to this side, everything's gonna be okay. It's gonna be a good day. Oh, 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 oh. It's gonna be a good day. Follow my intuition. All I know is that I just gotta let go. Yeah, looking back, it's always easy to know.
Selena Gomez is actually one of the most humanitarian-minded young women in pop culture today. She, from a very young age, was focused on how to give back to her generation.
Yes, I've been working with UNICEF for about a year and a half now, and this year they presented me with the ambassador. So they said it was going to be a lot of work, and that I was going to, get to go to a third world country and to get to experience it and do some field work, and it was completely life-changing. I just know that kids my age should be educated on things that are going on not only in the United States but also around the world. So.
She's been involved in UNICEF. She's been involved with all kinds of humanitarian causes, including one called Celebrity Tap Water, where they took tap water from different celebrity homes in a way to help raise awareness for how many people in the world don't have clean water. At a young age, she had raised nearly $1 million for charity. And I find that extraordinary for such a young woman to already be so concerned and focused on how she can make a difference is really exceptional.
UNICEF asked me to be a part of their Trick or Treat campaign, which is something they do every year for Halloween. That's been around for years and years. So I completely wanted to be on board. I was honored and I was complimented.
At one point, Selena Gomez had single-handedly helped to raise something like $700,000 through this campaign, which is going towards underprivileged children in all parts of the world, which is really an extraordinary thing for a woman so young to be so minded about the rest of the world and the problems going on.
Trick or Treat is basically every single Halloween we encourage kids to go trick-or-treating for UNICEF, which is carrying these cute little orange boxes. I'll get one. Cute little orange boxes, and they can go door to door asking for money. And I think anybody who sees this box will know that it's legit. All you have to do is seal it and send it to UNICEF, and we basically go throughout the entire world with kids that are less fortunate than we are, and we help and do our part as much as we can. I always say, when kids always ask me, because they always say the same thing to me, I'm just one person, what can I do? I won't really make a difference. I'm 12, I'm 11. It always starts with your voice. It just starts with you wanting to help, wanting to be a part of an organization, wanting to be a part of your community, anything. And then you can get your friends involved, and you can get your cousins involved, and your family involved, and it can end up being something you do just once a day, once every other day. It's just something that you can just really feel good about yourself. I think it's just a good thing to do every single month.
In 2010, Selena announced her plan to launch her own fashion line called Dream Out Loud. The clothing line launched in the fall of 2010. The collection consisted of bohemian dresses, floral tops, jeans, scarves, and hats, all made from recycled or eco-friendly materials.
What I liked about it, what I found interesting, was each one of the tags, instead of just having her name, had an inspirational quote that she liked on the label. And even in that endeavor, it's always consistently true that Selena Gomez is trying to uplift and inspire her fans and the people who buy her records, or in this case, bought her clothing. It's like she always sees that there's a chance to give a message or to do something that's a little bit deeper, and when she sees that chance, she always takes it.
By the age of 18, Selena Gomez had her own production company, clothing line. She was a successful actress and singer. And to put this into perspective, most 18-year-olds are just, wondering what record to buy in the shop. They're just finishing school. And she is a successful businesswoman and a talented actress and singer. It's astonishing, 18 years old.
At the age of 18, Selena Gomez was now a household name. And when she started dating Justin Bieber, she was filling up showbiz columns all around the world.
So here's the thing about Selena Gomez and Justin Bieber. I mean, what many people don't know is that they had been really good friends, in fact, best friends, for a good 2 years before they publicly announced that there was more going on than just a pure friendship.
Justin Bieber. Of course I do, who doesn't? He's just so sweet, and he's just very level-headed, and he's a good kid. He really is.
And for a long time, they denied that anything was going on. When asked about each other, they would laugh it off. They would say they were just friends. But by 2011, when they were caught kissing by photographers on New Year's, the cat was out of the bag. They could no longer deny that there was a romantic component to their friendship. In fact, it was in Valentine's Day in February, apparently Justin Bieber, with his new love, Selena, filled her entire house with flowers. Literally. This was a young couple who were madly in love and who had taken their friendship to the next level. I think one of the things that bonded them initially is that both Selena and Justin Bieber come from conservative religious families. And I think they felt very much like in Hollywood, they were not the typical young person. And I think they were very much drawn together. They believed they shared common values, they shared the same belief system, and I think that very much united them as a couple.
You have to also remember there's a 2-year age gap between the two of them. So when Justin Bieber was pictured at the Vanity Fair Oscar party on the red carpet with Selena looking stunning in a red gown, he was only 16 years old. I mean, he was a young man, but of course, one of the biggest tween stars in the world. This is the guy that had YouTubers, Twitter followers in his millions.
Basically, millions of girls, the Beliebers, want to be Justin's girlfriend. And Selena got a lot of hate on Twitter, letters, abuse about dating Justin. There was a lot of jealousy there. And the media speculation was really intense. They were followed down the streets, their cars were chased by paparazzi.
So when the news finally broke, thanks to an interview that Selena gave on the Ellen DeGeneres chat show, that the two were dating, it became the showbiz story of that week, of the year in fact. They were photographed everywhere. Everyone was talking about Selena and Justin, and in fact, fans of course called them by one name, Jelena.
After Selena's relationship with Justin had been made public to the world, Selena Gomez and The Scene were back in the studio recording their third album, which would go on to become their most successful release.
Selena Gomez and The Scene released their third studio album, When the Sun Goes Down. This was their most successful album to date. It went straight up the Billboard charts.
And again, it was critically well received. There were some big artists who featured on it, like Pixie Lott and Britney Spears. And again, the sound was more pop dancey than pop rock, which it originally had been.
You have to remember that she was one of the most photographed young women in the world. Every magazine wanted her photo. She was everywhere. Everyone was talking about her relationship with Justin Bieber. Now, even though she didn't want to talk about that relationship in many interviews that she gave at the time, I mean, I remember meeting her at the MTV Music Awards in Belfast, and we were told, talk about the music, don't talk about the relationship. But, of course, she releases the first single, Love You Like a Love Song, and immediately we listen to the lyrics, and it's quite obvious who the song is about. I mean, the video was a massive hit with millions, over 200 million views now on YouTube. She did some of the biggest TV shows in America. The album was her most successful, giving her top 10 success, multi-platinum success, in fact, across the USA. And for the first time, Selena Gomez and The Scene were selling records across Europe and in parts of South America that took her to the next level of her career.
There was a feeling that the lyrics were more grown up from what she'd been saying before, and actually the maturity of her voice was commented on by many critics. But you can see through watching her videos that this girl is growing up in terms of maturity, her look, her dance moves, everything's progressing the way it should be.
After the success of the band's third album, Selena Gomez and The Scene were now an established force in the music industry. After the band's worldwide tour, Selena decided to switch her focus back to acting and would go on to star alongside some of the biggest names in Hollywood.
She does throughout her career, actually. She concentrates on music acting. Really smart girl. She wants to do it all. Hotel Transylvania was an animated film, and she starred alongside the likes of Adam Sandler. And that's huge. That's Hollywood royalty, and great for her ego to be alongside these people.
Adam actually mentioned my name, which was completely flattering and an honor. So it's been amazing. I read the script. I thought it was really, really cute and really funny, and all the cast, I was just like, oh, this is going to be amazing. So of course I wanted to be a part of it.
Now it's all about her 118th birthday. When you turned 18, what was like the first thing you kind of needed to run out and do?
Honestly, not much changed for me. I thought, I wouldn't have to have a curfew. I wouldn't have to tell my parents where I was. That did not change. They were like, where are you? What's going on? And so they were sweet.
Now, a lot of the guys in the film, they are family guys. They have kids, and they said they all were just clamoring over you. How did it feel to know that all these kids were already fans of the film before they even saw the final?
It's sweet. It definitely makes my job really fun and a lot easier. So.
Well, Monte Carlo was a big break for Selena Gomez. This was a film that was produced by Nicole Kidman, starred Katie Cassidy, who of course was on Gossip Girl. These were like real actors and producers who were involved in this, and this was a grown-up part. This was a starring role. This wasn't an animated movie. This wasn't The Muppets. This was her playing a young romantic lead in a movie that did incredibly well at the box office, really nailed the fan base of adolescent girls, basically. And Selena Gomez was kind of launched as a legitimate leading lady in a movie. And it was a big deal for her. It was a big break, and she did it really well.
Monte Carlo is my new film that's coming out July 1st. And it is kind of a romantic comedy / adventure about 3 girls that travel to Europe, and they want to have a great vacation. It ends up being a disaster, and they run into a British heiress that is completely evil, and they switch lives with her without her knowing because it's a case of mistaken identity. And in between, there's romance, and you kind of figure out it's like a coming-of-age story. It's kind of really hard for me to explain, but it's really sweet.
What do you hope, like, your fans, these young girls, will take away from these movies?
I really hope, first I hope it inspires them to travel, because it's always good to get away for a minute and go with your friends or travel when you get a chance, because it's like a growing up thing. I feel like I grew up a lot in the film because I went to live in these places, and it was really a whole learning experience for me. And if anything, I do hope that it makes them embrace who they are, because there's a million times where there's a lot of people who say, oh, I wish my life was different, or I wish I had this, I wish I had that. And you see Grace really embrace what she has after complaining about it for so long.
And Grace is the character you play in the movie.
I play 2 characters.
Oh, okay.
Grace and Cordelia.
And so your relationship with Justin Bieber has sort of been a hot topic lately. Can you tell me which, like, Justin Bieber song is your favorite?
My favorite song changes every day. Right now it's probably Up or Never Let You Go.
And what about your least favorite?
I don't think I'd be a very good friend if I said a least favorite. I don't think there is a song I don't like.
Spring Breakers was kind of Selena Gomez's Miley Cyrus moment, where she stepped out of her image as a young Disney star who was innocent and pure, and kind of put forward the idea that she wanted to be taken seriously as a sexual young woman who had moments of going wild. And it was a shock to her fans.
I mean, obviously I know that coming from Disney Channel gives you kind of a brand in a way, and they do put a label on you. I know that I have younger fans, and this is an opportunity for myself to kind of grow. And it is a little shocking, I think, for the younger audiences and for having that background, but I think it was right for me. You know, I do everything for my younger fans, I do everything for my fans, and this one was more for me in a way.
A lot of people didn't want that to be Selena Gomez. It was like watching, as I said, you know, Miley Cyrus doing something lewd on stage, or Britney Spears when she first kind of tried to break out of her good girl image, and did. But I think that for Selena it was important because it's very difficult for a child star to transition from a clean-cut Disney image and model into a sexual woman who drinks or smokes on film. And I think for Selena, Spring Breakers was her opportunity to try and do that. It wasn't easy for her though. In fact, there were lots of reports that Selena had some kind of mini breakdown on the set. And I think that really goes back to Selena's almost constant conflicted nature between this conservative, religious, good girl that she wants to be and is, and another side of her personality, which is a lot more of a rebel and dark, that keeps coming out and potentially put on film. I think she really struggles with that.
Today is the official launch, I guess, of my fragrance. So we are at Macy's, obviously in New York, the big one here, and we're gonna launch it, so I'm excited. It's very romantic. It's just really, it's rich, it's sweet, but it's not overbearing. I just wanted it, that's what I feel like I'm in my mode right now, is very young, rich, romantic, and it's just very warm, so that's how I kind of describe it. It's actually something I've always really wanted to do. I mean, that's kind of cliche of me to say, but I mean, I love fragrances. I have over 20, so I like kind of coming up with my own anyway. There's like places you can go to get it, so I wanted to kind of do my own, and it's something that represents me and something for my fans, obviously. So, I mean, my fans have been there the entire step of the way. They've helped me create the fragrance, and it's been great. I mean, the response has been amazing, and I really am proud of it. Nobody's ever done this before, and I was actually really excited to try it because obviously I tell my fans that their opinion means everything to me, and I always tell them how much they mean to me, but this was a way for me to actually show them that I really meant that. So they actually helped me create my fragrance. So they went online and they got to pick out the top notes with me, the middle notes and the bottom notes, and then I flew out 14 fans, and they all came into New York from different countries and different states, and we had 3 options, and they helped me pick it, and they were there, and we've picked my final fragrance, so they were there every step of the way.
In early November 2012, it was widely reported that Selena and Justin Bieber had ended their relationship.
Young love is tempestuous and it's turbulent at the best of times. When you're Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez, you've got one huge problem. The whole world is watching your relationship and they want to know every single detail. Justin Bieber got himself into hot water when he cast an actress called Chanel Solaire to perform basically and appear in his music video for As Long As You Love Me. There were several reports coming from gossip columnists from the websites, those in the know, that Justin had been spending a little bit too much time with Chanel on set, that they were getting on rather well. I think the media obviously loved the fact they had a great story in Jelena. Selena and Justin sold magazines, they sold newspapers around the world. Stories about those two went worldwide. But you have to also remember they were incredibly young and there were millions, I mean millions, of young girls in the world who wanted to be on Justin Bieber's arm.
We saw even paparazzi pictures at one point of Justin lurking outside of her home in his car, begging her to let him in through the electronic gates, which eventually she did. But they were obviously having problems and fighting and breaking up. What we started to get a picture of was the incredibly turbulent nature of this relationship. There were released text messages between the pair, which showed a huge amount of disrespect on the part of Justin. He called her all kinds of bad names. But what we saw was the fact that this relationship was far from an idealized, romantic, positive coupling, and actually seemed to have a lot of elements of dysfunction and emotional blackmail about it. It seemed to be becoming very toxic for both of them.
And you know so more than anybody, what is the cure for Bieber fever?
I don't know. There isn't one.
And even though there were millions of girls around the world thinking, yes, Justin Bieber's a single man, Jelena, unfortunately, were no more.
At this point in their careers, Selena Gomez and The Scene had released 3 multi-platinum albums. They had sold out arenas and played to millions of adoring fans all around the world. But it was now time for Selena Gomez to go solo.
If you're talking about worldwide pop appeal, if you're talking about chart success, then Selena nailed it with this amazing album, Stars Dance, her first solo record.
And this actually was the most successful of all the albums she had done so far. Fans clearly were ready to embrace her as a solo pop artist. It went all the way to #1.
I mean, she said she was influenced by Skrillex and Britney Spears. It's a totally electro-pop record. It works well on the radio. It's going to work well in the clubs. It actually showed some real progression as well for Selena. It was a more mature album, and the lead single, Come and Get It, was an instant smash around the world. I mean, its YouTube views are now in the trillions. Okay, maybe not trillions, but they're getting there. It's been one of the biggest music videos in the world. It won an MTV award. It sounded great on the radio.
And the lead single on the album, Come and Get It, went straight to the top of the charts. The video was at the top of the playlist everywhere, and it really kind of cemented her position as a pop star.
Now, the video was very widely viewed, and no wonder, because you saw Selena really dressing a wee bit more grown-up, provocatively skimpy outfits, but nothing too much. She still looked quite classy, and her dance moves had come on. This was a real departure from the squeaky clean image, and yet it seemed to be in accordance with the girl just growing up and finding her feet.
Well, in the video for Come and Get It, we see a very beautiful Selena Gomez dressed in Indian attire. She's dancing in a very elegant, slightly provocative way, but there's a lot of nature. There are mountains. It's a natural kind of beauty. This isn't a kind of sexual video where she's up on a pole and, you know, twerking with, 60 different men. It's actually reflective of who Selena Gomez is, which is a young woman who celebrates natural beauty, who celebrates kind of the purity and essence of beauty, and it's a lovely video.
I think this is, so far today, the definitive Selena Gomez record, and if she carries on in this direction, she'll continue having #1 hits around the world.
Selena was now an established solo artist. Come and Get It was being played on radio stations and music channels everywhere. The video had acquired millions of views on YouTube, and it was most definitely the start of a long and successful solo career for Selena. Since Selena is such an avid singer and actress, once again, she decided to switch her attention back to the big screen. Gomez had a cameo role in Aftershock, a thriller produced by the horror enthusiast Eli Roth. The film premiered at the 37th Annual Toronto International Film Festival. Gomez also appeared in the gritty thriller Getaway, alongside Ethan Hawke, Jon Voight, and Bruce Payne.
By taking roles in Aftershock and Getaway, these were both very grown-up directors and very grown-up roles. I think Selena was trying to say, I'm not this little girl anymore. I'm a grown woman, and I'm going to make these choices. I'm going to show different sides of my personality. One of the things that's exceptional about Selena Gomez is the fact that she has this open Christian faith. And I'm not talking about, the occasional Sunday Mass, but this is someone who is really close to her pastor, Judah Smith. She goes to his worship conferences in the front row and prays openly and tweets about him all the time, writes things like, I love Jesus. Selena Gomez was one of the most famous young people in this very top exclusive Hollywood Bible study. And she used to go all the time with Justin Bieber's mother, who was also in the Bible study group. What a lot of people kind of wonder about Selena is how she balances the very public Hollywood lifestyle with her also very public faith. And it hasn't been easy at all times for her. There were lots of stories about her and Justin smoking pot together and really being involved in an environment where there were lots of different kinds of drugs. At the same time, Selena's roots are in a very conservative Christian arena, and she still most recently went to church on Easter and wrote all about how the worship service had moved her. So she does seem to be kind of this dichotomy of a very religious, spiritual girl, and at the same time, very much involved in a wild Hollywood lifestyle at points.
In December 2013, Selena announced the cancellation of the Australian leg of her Stars Dance tour and stated that she would be taking a short hiatus to spend time with her family. The news that followed would shock her loyal fans.
In January of 2014, Selena Gomez checked herself into the Dawn rehab facility in Arizona. She was there only 2 weeks. It was a voluntary check-in, and it was a situation in which she sought help. Now, her publicist went on the record and denied that she had any issues whatsoever with substances, which begs the question then, why was she there? Now, the clinic specializes in addiction issues, eating disorders and any kind of emotional problems. So you can guess perhaps then why she was there if it wasn't a substance abuse issue. Clearly there were some other issues going on in Selena's emotional life. Celebrity watchers speculate that this rehab visit probably had a lot to do with Justin Bieber and perhaps the addiction she felt to him, the addiction she had to the relationship, the dysfunctionality, the codependency, perhaps of that relationship may have been a large factor. At the time she checked herself into rehab, she was very much on this on-again, off-again roller coaster with Justin Bieber. And therefore, a lot of people believe there was an emotional fallout, an emotional price to pay, and she knew she needed some help.
After Selena had come through her rehabilitation, there were widespread reports that she was dating Hollywood superstar Orlando Bloom. However, neither Selena nor Orlando confirmed the relationship, leaving showbiz reporters playing the guessing game.
Well, when Selena Gomez started seeing Orlando Bloom, and yes, they are seeing each other, it was so interesting because those of us who follow these kinds of things vividly remember last year when Miranda Kerr and Justin Bieber were spotted looking extremely cozy backstage from a Victoria's Secret show. There were lots of rumors that back in 2012, Miranda and Justin Bieber, Miranda of course being Orlando Bloom's now ex-wife, that Miranda and Justin had had an affair. So it was an interesting thing to see Selena and Orlando, both of whom were allegedly wronged by their partners, brought together in this way. A lot of people believe that Selena Gomez's relationship with Orlando Bloom is specifically designed to make Justin Bieber crazy. She's long had a crush on him. She's always fancied him, and Justin Bieber apparently didn't like that very much. Who can blame him? And I think it's very possible that this relationship with Orlando is intentionally designed to annoy her recent ex. In early 2014, Selena Gomez made a big decision in her professional life, which would have very personal ramifications. She fired her mother and her stepfather as her managers. They had been managing her together since she was a child. And at that point, in 2014, she decided, I'm a grown-up, I want adult professional managers, I've outgrown them, and I'm ready to do this with someone else. Some might speculate that she got tired of being the family breadwinner. She'd been supporting her mother and her stepfather all her life, and there were many sources that said that Selena had started to say things like, well, who's earning the money around here? You can't tell me what to do, which is always a very difficult thing if you're trying to parent a child who's actually the one bringing home the paycheck. It reminded me of when Beyonce fired her own father as her manager in 2013, I think it was, but it was a similar kind of scenario where Beyonce also said, I outgrew my father as my manager. I want him to be my father, not my manager. And I think in Selena's case, she wanted a mother, she wanted a stepfather who were parents and not necessarily part of her professional team.
She has proved to be one of Hollywood's most versatile stars. The former Disney sensation is now one of the world's leading actresses and pop artists. Throughout her life, she's always overcome the barriers that have been put in front of her, and it's shaped her into the superstar she is today.
Selena Gomez has it all. She's a beautiful young woman, she's talented, she's good at acting, and she's taken very seriously as a pop singer with a great voice. She's a good dancer, she has a lot of friends in Hollywood.
I mean, I won't be surprised if she'll end up producing, directing movies when she's in her 30s.
She really can do whatever she wants. The only thing standing in the way of Selena Gomez is Selena Gomez. She has made some bad decisions in the past. She's linked herself with Justin Bieber at points where she clearly needed to step away. And perhaps she has struggled with some lifestyle issues related to her relationship with Justin and some of the decisions that she's made. recent signs indicate that Selena Gomez is really focused on being positive and turning her life around in a way that gives her the opportunity to reach her full potential. She's gone back to her religious roots. She's been going back to church. She's been cutting off some of her friends that she saw as bad influences. And she's been stepping away from the relationship with Justin, which appears to have gotten very toxic over the years. I think if Selena Gomez can reach forward in a way that's positive, really, the future is really unlimited for her.
So, when you've got the combination of drive, ambition, and talent, plus worldwide fame, and you've been on screen since you were 5 years old, you know, you're in a very good place. The future's looking great for Selena Gomez. There is no stopping her. I think she's going to be around for a number of years to come.